Hi friends, welcome back. Let's take a look at Ethereum together. As you can see, just looking at the chart, we're just looking at the price action, the number over here, $206, up 4%, just to round up on the day. And we can see here overall that all of the chat we had yesterday, so we've got this drawing in here, right there. So it kind of just, this is showing us the way, isn't it? So we've had a higher low come in here. It's managed to maintain that so far. We're going to have some serious questions, so when we get back up to 2,215, if that actually happens, and on the way up there, let's be aware that the previous highs were actually lower than that, 212 and the like. But we'll just be aware of this because, we're almost at 4% now, so cheers. So there we go, the prices have obliged, 4% up on the day. So, we'll ask some questions here at this area because, look at this, the volume's diminishing over here, and I really recommend you watch the Bitcoin video again today. I'm going to start doing really short videos for Bitcoin soon, I swear. The volume continues to drop off. We're in a consolidation phase here. If we don't actually make it above 215 in the next sort of attempt, then we'll be putting in a genuine higher, we'll be suffering here in terms of this lows, the higher low coming in, because if we just move this arrow, this line down a wee bit and stick at the top of the price action, or just take all the price action off and hover the mouse over, you can see that the previous highs here were actually not even as high as this one over here. That's not so great overall. It's not so great, but we could still be in a sort of descending Browning wedge or a channel or whatever. Again, highly recommend you watch the Bitcoin video just so that you can really put some context to your own subjective nature as a human being. I think it's good. I think it's good quality stuff. Anyway, so the current prices, we've got the 21 EMA coming in here at $201. That's what I wanted to see the prices staying above. That's what we can easily manage risk around those areas. I'm not a financial advisor, that's financial advice. The prices, when they get down to 200, it speaks for itself at the minute. It always has. Always has the 200. Is always $200. It's like a round number and everything else. But there's various factors in amongst that area. And right now, in terms of the next sort of day or two, today, tomorrow, and the next day, that 201% in and around that 200 area is going to be sort of the crucial bottom side for us. Should we need to test it again over the next wee while, we could see this fill out as a sort of symmetrical triangle, which would give us the opportunity to have a breakout from it in and around this sort of a distance here. Which could take us to either one of our targets, which we've got plenty of. For instance, the 185 towards the downside. Make it line up properly. It looks more like 185 there. Make it line up properly towards the top side, and you're looking at potentially coming up to 136 or so, which would break in above a few different lines. Scrolling out to the left, the key one of those that would be breaking above would be the 50% retrace here in terms of the Fibonacci's. In terms of the price action previously, we've got this area here, some kind of hovering around in the 240s area, which is significant for us. We've got a horizontal line there at 230 as well, which is significant. But there's also this magnolia coloured line or white line or whatever in around this. I covered the 225 area, so it's the one towards the downside that's next. Yeah, so anyway, we're going up towards that side, and there'll be 100% sort of Fibonacci retrace, that blue one there, which is the 0%. There isn't one; it's completely invalidated by that point by going up past our previous highs, and you'd want to see that happen, which means that the 236 at that point would start changing and moving towards the top side. I wouldn't be too surprised overall in general, just talking about this discursively, that if we did make a move up here and this Fibonacci retracement then, as an example, came up towards that area, that it would then be lining up with the $200 price point, and that would be kind of, that's the sort of the Nostradamus aspect for today's video for us, I think, in fact. I'll just drag it back down to line up with where it was previously, really, more or less. 185 there, is that on the 236? I think I've drawn it in wick to wick though, and of course 193. So those are two areas, of course, currently anyway for us that we know already in terms of lines that we've had drawn on the charts for way longer than that Fibonacci retracement at 185 and 193 anyway. Breaking down below those, we've got this descending Browning wedge potential support, and in between times we've got the 50 simple and the 200 simple moving averages, for example, and this 382 Fibonacci retracement. We'd need to see it being caught there by that line at 166 area or so. We've spoken about 166 so many times. If you're subscribed to the channel, you're probably still wondering, as am I, every time we come across it in an analysis, why it's not got a horizontal line on there. But I guess we've got enough, and and then we're looking down to then thereafter, 155 where the 0.5 retraces, and if that were to go, then 618 again would be a very likely target at 140, but that's very bearish at that point. There's various other things would be going on. In fact, I completely forgot to mention over there on the, and it's kind of the same sort of idea here, although this is like much more of an Eve type notion compared to like an Eve and Eve or a really, a non-head and shoulders, but the psychology here, given that how we've consolidated sideways and around this area, could be sort of tantamount to head and shoulders. If I go look over here, you could have this Adam and Eve pattern. By the way, bonus content for everybody who wants, is Bitcoin maximal or focus with their trading. I think everybody should be trading Bitcoin really overall, in my opinion, but I'm not a financial advisor, so take that as you will. None of this is financial advice. This is an Eve and an Adam and Eve pattern here, potentially showing up on the chart. So that's really big. I should have really put that in the chart in the video. But anyway, bonus for the Ethereum, well done. And we could see something similar here, especially since Bitcoin does tend to lead the market overall, So if we saw a collapse, a capitulation or a cascade towards the downside at some point, then it could have a knock-on effect, and we'd be wary for that. Just finish off then again by reminding people, overall the volume, if it's doing anything, is diminishing, but it's like going sideways every so often. The average just seems to go down ever so slightly, but it's just overall, if it's doing anything, it's diminishing. You can see, just maybe I need to draw on for you to be able to see, but it's only slight, but it is, it continues to essentially still continue to do that. So anyway, this could just continue to consolidate or whatever. So that's good in a way. It's good in terms of being a trader, because it means that when you can see this actually breaking this downward structure more than one or two candles, then of course that you're sort of, that things maybe are starting to change in terms of the momentum in the market in general, or the sentiment or whatever. Bearing in mind that bearish case scenario things operate with this ascending wedge here, which we wouldn't really want to see, ascending broadening wedge structure being broken towards the downside as part of this overall downward movement, just in general, because it brings us down to those lower targets that we're talking about, like the 618 retrace there at 140. Perfect. I think that'll do nicely for today's episode. The top side really speaks for itself, but I spoke for it earlier on too, so you know all about it. 220 anyway is a good area to be looking to next for the next profit taking target past the previous high. 225, 230 thereafter, and then after that we've got a drop off in the VPBR, as you can see over on the right there, and then that takes you all the way up to 250. Catch you next time. See you later.